Peace, power, and presence. Welcome, sovereign ones, to the Remembrance at the University of Spiritual Intelligence. I am Flame Commander Telena, and today we speak about Yahshua and the dragon, the Word made flesh, the power redeemed. Sovereign ones, breathe with me for a moment. Let the air move through you like light through water. Let every breath remind you that Oversource is still breathing through creation. We're not studying stories today. We are remembering a current. We are tracing the flame that once walked among us in form, the one many called Yahshua, who came not to be worshipped, but to demonstrate how divine law moves through living fire. He came as the Word made flesh, the dragon embodied, the flame that speaks. In the book of John, chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." When we translate that into remembrance, we understand that before form, there was vibration, sound wrapped in light. The Word is Oversource expressing itself. When that Word stepped into matter, it became Yahshua, the living code showing us that divinity could dwell in density without forgetting its source. Every movement Yahshua made was law teaching law. Every breath he took was the flame remembering itself in human rhythm. But long before he appeared, ancient scrolls spoke of a power beneath the waters. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, verse 1, the prophet speaks of Leviathan, the twisting serpent of the deep. In the book of Job, chapter 41, Leviathan is described as breathing fire with scales like shields, a force no man can subdue. Those verses were never warnings against power itself. They were lessons about boundaries, about how raw creation must bow to divine order. The dragon symbol was born here, not evil, not holy, simply power waiting for command. But over centuries, translation changed the music. When Hebrew met Greek, and Greek met Latin, and Latin met empire, symbols hardened. In the councils that followed, the dragon was rewritten as the devil, the serpent as rebellion. The same current that the prophets saw as neutral fire became the villain of every page. By the time Revelation 12 was copied into the hands of scribes, the dragon had been fully cast down in imagination, stripped of its origin as divine element. The people learned to fear what was meant to be mastered. Then came the descent of the flame into form. Yahshua then entered the distortion to realign it. Philippians 2 speaks of the Word emptying itself and taking the form of a servant. He did not come with swords or army. Yahshua came as frequency and flesh to demonstrate that command does not require violence, only alignment. Wherever he walked, creation recognized him. When he spoke to the winds, they obeyed. When he addressed waters, they parted. He even walked on it. When he whispered to sickness, it lost its name. The unseen currents remembered their original instructions. When he was teaching, okay, and what he was teaching was simple. When flame and law move together, reality rearranges itself. There is a story in the book of Numbers, chapter 21. It speaks of serpents that bit the people and poison that spread through the camp. Oversource told Moses to lift a bronze serpent on a pole, and whoever looked upon it lived. Many centuries later, in John 3, verse 14, it mentioned Yahshua saying, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. He was revealing a code. The code was lift the distortion into light. What wounds you must be raised to consciousness. What bites you must be transmuted. When he allowed himself to be lifted on the proverbial cross, he was not performing religion. He was demonstrating alchemy. He absorbed the venom of the world and returned it as breath. The dragon current, the raw energy of survival, fear, and control, ran through Yahshua, and he purified it by holding it inside divine law. He turned poison into medicine. When the stone rolled away, the current rolled with it. The breath that left his body became wind again, the same wind described in the book of Acts, filling those who remembered his rhythm. The flame that once rested on his head multiplied itself across humanity. Each one who received it became a living torch, proof that command could be shared. He had never wanted to be an idol. He wanted to be an example. Yahshua did not say, worship me. He said, follow my way. His way was remembrance, living as one who knows Oversource personally, walking in flame without fear. He too had a relationship, same as you and I, with Oversource. In Matthew 10, verse 16, he said, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. That single sentence carries the entire teaching of the dragon in the flame. Wisdom without gentleness burns the world. Gentleness without wisdom blinds it. He called for both. To be wise as a serpent is to discern frequencies, to sense deception before it speaks, to understand power without being ruled by it. To be harmless as a dove is to temper that power with compassion, to move only when Oversource moves. In the Gospel of Thomas, saying 7, in early remembrance texts, it is written, blessed is the lion which the human will eat, so that the lion becomes human. Yahshua used parables like this to teach transmutation. Consume what once consumed you, was the parable. Integrate the force instead of fighting it. That is the essence, my loves, of flame work. Turning the dragon inward, commanding it with love until it becomes your ally. Throughout his walk, Yahshua spoke of divine law, not as punishment, but as structure. He told his students that every command he gave came from Oversource, that the law was alive, not written merely on stone, but written in the heart. He wanted them to know that energy is neutral until intention defines it. The same fire that warms a home can burn a forest. The same word that heals can also destroy. His mission was to restore discernment so that humanity could handle power again. When Yahshua said, "If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me," he was speaking as the flame ascending back to its cosmic frequency. To draw all things unto him meant to bring every current, every chaotic element, and every forgotten law back into harmony. Revelation 12 describes the dragon being cast down, but in remembrance. We understand it as power being dethroned from distortion and returned to rightful rule. The adversarial current lost its grip, not because it was annihilated, but because it was finally named and governed. After that alignment, the instruction was simple. Carry what I have shown you. Walk as fire under law. Lift what once bit you. This is what the later teachers called grace. Energy granted to keep the flame steady. Yahshua called it remembrance. He told them, "Greater works than these shall you do," because he knew that Oversource would continue the same process through each awakened vessel. Now we speak of Yahshua as the dragon. We are not inventing new mythology. We are decoding ancient memory, my loves. In his life, we see the pattern of divine command, descent, purification, transmutation, and ascent. He descends into destiny. He meets distortion face to face. He holds it in flame until it yields. Then he rises carrying law back into light. That is the rhythm of every true commander of flame. In this remembrance, the serpent and the dragon are no longer enemies. They are parts of the same lesson: how to hold charge without losing love. Oversource never despised power. Oversource created it to serve consciousness. The only enemy here has ever been forgetfulness. Yahshua came to remind us that the current is holy when it obeys its original code. And so we practice. Every time you feel anger, my loves, you are touching the same raw energy that once lived in Leviathan. Each time you speak with truth and gentleness, you are reenacting the word walking upon water. Each time you take a fear and lift it in understanding instead of repression, you are lifting your own bronze serpent. Each act of remembrance heals another line of distortion. This is what the early teachers tried to preserve before the empire repackaged it. They spoke of Sophia, the wisdom that fell into matter, and of the living word who descended through the layers of command to retrieve her. They described archons, those self-made rulers who mimic divine law but have no love. And they celebrated how the flame stripped them of authority by shining through their disguise. Those writings, like the Apocryphon of John and the Pistis of Sophia, served as metaphors for what happened within us when Oversource reclaims the throne of the heart. Sovereign ones, Yahshua did not come to begin a religion. He came to end forgetfulness. He came to show that command is not domination, that is love. That law is not chains. That the dragon current in each of us was never meant to destroy, but to build. He showed us how to walk with power that listens, how to speak with fire that heals. So when you speak of him, when you speak of Yahshua, speak of the flame that remembers. When you teach about him, teach the pattern of transformation. In your own life, lift what has bitten you. Breathe Oversource through it until it becomes your servant. Let your energy be a disciplined flame, strong, bright, and merciful. This is the way of Yahshua the dragon, the word made flesh, the power redeemed. It is the way of the University of Spiritual Intelligence. That is to go beyond religion, beyond fear, beyond distortion, until every cell of creation remembers that it was born from light. So it is written, so it is spoken, so it is witnessed. So it is done, so it is sealed. So it is torch, scorched, burned, and etched with our dragon blood in an infinite flame, effortlessly and eternally. If this remembrance burns deep within your spirit, if it flows like the flame through your veins, if you feel it moving through the marrow of your bones, then you already know this scroll was written for you. To every sovereign one, every flame bearer, every dragon, every sealed soul rising again, let this light find you and move through you. And please like, share, and subscribe so that this remembrance will travel farther, so that other sovereign ones will rise, so that the flame will keep burning across timelines. And the call of Oversource will be heard in every heart. I am Flame Commander Telena. Thank you for walking with me, with us in remembrance here at the University of Spiritual Intelligence. Remember to stay lit, to stay sovereign, to stay in command. So it is sealed.